Welcome back to another episode of the New Era Nerds podcast. I'm your host, Tommy, with my co-host, Logan, two longtime friends who are also huge nerds. We have a pretty big episode for you today. We're going to be breaking down episode, was it 4 of the Bad Batch? And then we're going to be discussing the new Marvel Eternals trailer, as well as doing a little talk on some new movies that came out that we've watched, and just a couple minutes on those. And then we're going to be closing the episode with top 5 Star Wars armors. So it's going to be a pretty fun episode today. Before we get started, it'd be huge to us if you went and subscribed to the YouTube channel, as well as follow the socials, Instagram and Twitter at New Era Nerds Pod, and then TikTok at new_era_nerds. All right, Logan, we might as well get right into it here. Episode 4 of the Bad Batch. For me, I have a hot take here. A lot of people did not really like this episode too much. They said it was too cookie cutter Star Wars. You know, we crash on a planet, we have a quest, and then we have to leave the planet. I understand that. But for me, this episode felt like a 20-minute scene that would be in a movie, specifically Star Wars Episode 2, which I'm a huge fan of, mostly due to the chase scene at the end. The chase scene between Hunter and Fennec Shand, who, of course, I know you're going to be talking about. It really resembled the chase in Episode 2 between Obi-Wan and Anakin and the bounty hunter lady who I forget her name, but she was the shapeshifter. But the whole scene like that through the city on the speeders really resembled that. There's a lot of other stuff that I liked in this episode, and I don't really care that it follows that cookie cutter formula. I mean, it's episode 4 where I found out we're doing 14 episodes, so we're not even into the middle of it yet. We're still at the beginning. We're still doing character development. I enjoyed the episode. I have some other points that I'll talk about later, but let me know your thoughts.
Honestly, yeah, I liked it. I thought it was a good introductory episode to somebody we talk about a lot on this show, especially Fennec Shand finally showing up. We were kind of wondering when we were gonna see her, and we both kind of had the opinion that it was going to be a little later. We knew that this was going to be a longer form show. You know, it was going to have more episodes. When we find out it's going to have 14 episodes, so a little shorter than I thought. I was thinking I was expecting it to go into probably the 20s, maybe hit the high 20s. But you know, again, I agree with you. I thought it was very reminiscent of the chase scene in Episode 2. I that was a very brilliant point, and I like Fennec's character so far and what we've been introduced to her in the episode. You know, I liked when, you know, she's kind of chasing after Omega, but kind of keeping her safe. So we know that, you know, this isn't necessarily a kill bounty. Because you know, Fennec Shand would have no problem wasting a child. You know what I mean? Like, she would,
and this is Star Wars. We will kill kids.
Right. Omega would have been dead long time ago had Fennec Shand you know, wanted to kill her, which kind of leads into the next point, into who do we think Fennec is working for. And I guess I kind of have, it's not really a hot take, but I don't think it's the oh my God, Kaminoans. I mean, what do you think about that? Who do you think's directing her to do all of this stuff?
Yeah, I actually totally agree with you that it's not the Kaminoans. I think if it was the Kaminoans, obviously I think they are trying to get her back, but I don't think they're doing that through bounty hunters. I think they're going to do that through the Empire, use the Empire's resources to get her back. You know, I've been pitching it all along. And I'm just going to stick with it. I think she's working with Boba Fett, dude.
Right
At this point, Boba Fett would be either a late teenager or young adult. When we saw Fennec and met her before in The Mandalorian, we know that she teamed up with Boba Fett. So a lot of people made the comparison of those two fighting together in that Mandalorian episode to pretty reminiscent of like, oh, this seems pretty Episode 2-ish, where Jango Fett worked with that other bounty hunter who, you know, also wore a pretty similar face mask to Fennec. So I kind of wonder if they're gonna do like a like father like son type thing in this, and with these two characters. We know throughout the Star Wars sagas and everything like that, family legacies do play a pretty big role in things, with main characters, side characters, really, really all of that. Family is a huge theme in Star Wars, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do try to pull that off and make Boba Fett and her tight and already know each other previously, being that they're both bounty hunters. Boba Fett would be on his climb to power now in this time frame. So I'm rocking with my man Boba.
Right on. And I agree. I agree. Which actually kind of, which you kind of said it, but it brings up a good point, is why aren't the Kaminoans looking for her? I mean, you would think that they'd be a little bit more dead set on them looking for her if they knew, because, there's no way they don't know that she is force sensitive. So why, I guess, aren't they looking a little harder for her?
Yeah, well, the thing is, I think that they are, and like I said
Okay.
before, I think they're using the Empire and the Empire's resources to get her.
Right.
Uh, in the very beginning of the episode, Echo comes in. He's like, "Hey, comms are showing that our ship is wanted. Uh,
Hmm.
you know, so what are we gonna do?" And then pretty much that leads them to having to land so that Tech can reprogram it so they
Right.
can like pretty much scramble
Gotcha.
their what would be
Gotcha.
their license plate for their ship.
So I
Yes,
guess,
so
yeah. So I
basically
guess
the
they are
Empire was
looking for
pretty
him.
much just trying to track them and like that. And
Right
again,
on.
I know we've talked about how Crosshair is probably going to be hunting them to bring Omega back. So
Yeah.
I
Which
think
we,
that's what it has to do. That's how the Kaminoans are going about it.
yeah, and which, I mean, in which we saw in episode 3 is, they're trying the Crosshair and his team. I guess their kind of trial mission was to go look for Saul Guerrera and, whoever he's hiding out with. They found them just fine. Now, however, the Bad Batch kind of led them straight, to where he was, and they know exactly pretty much what he was doing. But yeah, I think it just goes to show the outreach of, of the Empire and what they can do and what they can find and who they can find at any given time, which kind of just, and then lends itself well to how well the Bad Batch is at running. So
Right.
yeah,
Right.
it's gonna get interesting. I'm in, and I saw a lot on the internet that this was kind of, their make or break show, and all I kept thinking the whole time was just be patient with it. It's
Mhm.
it's like it's like the Clone Wars. I mean, it took me a second to kind of really go, oh, okay, this is a good TV show.
Right.
So
Right.
I guess if I my message to anybody who's kind of fallen off of the wagon by now, just give it a couple more episodes. Let's get halfway through this season, and then we can make the actual judgments, because it seems like they're setting up for a lot of really cool shit.
Right. And honestly, like what we said last episode, this format of show is going to be a lot better when you can just sit down and binge it and knock
Right.
out 4 or 5 episodes at a time. When you do that, it's going to feel a lot less like, oh, we're at another planet, we're doing this, we're doing that. And honestly, that's it is pretty formulaic and standard for Star Wars, but they
Oh
do
yeah.
it whenever they're introducing new characters. That's kind of how they do it. They say, okay, we need to figure out a way to give our main characters some action, something to do, give them a little bit of controversy. And then how does this new character, this person that they're meeting and finally interacting with, that's a really easy way for us to work that in and something like that. They
Right.
do have to be careful though, because like you said, they will turn a lot of people off if they do that
Hmm.
5 episodes in a row.
Right.
That was really people's biggest issue with the Mandalorian, and I think Mandalorian gets the pass on doing it just because one, it's live action, and it just kind of looks way cooler. It feels much more like a movie,
Right.
whereas people are already iffy about these kind of shows because they're animated. Um, but I know personally, like it also is a lot easier for them to stray away from that cookie cutter formula for a show when it is animated. Some of the
Right.
best things about the Clone Wars are some of the episodes would get really, really weird. And it was cool because they could do that because it's a cartoon. And it's like, all
Right.
right, whatever, no big deal. Where you wouldn't want to waste a huge $10 million budget for an episode of The Mandalorian experimenting.
Well, and they do that really well. And like you said, it's formulaic. They know exactly what they're doing, and if it's not broke, they're not going to fix it. They know exactly who their audience is for these shows. It's guys like you and me, and sometimes kids who are into, whose parents are super into Star Wars, like, oh, cartoon, throw it on for the kids. It's not necessarily for the mainstream. I hate to say that word. I don't mean to be like, oh, it's mainstream, but people who casually like the Star Wars movies aren't going to watch these shows, and they probably never will. I recommend them to people who don't necessarily watch them all the time, but they know their audience. I think Disney's really good at doing that kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure. Logan,
What's happening?
we have a new favorite droid alert.
Okay.
My man, Clink. The droid Clink that Echo helped escape when they sold him for a droid. He shows up and is an absolute boss. He's a astro droid with like tube arms and legs that like the Gonk droids have. He's like a combo of the two, and he's awesome. He's barking up the tree at the protocol droid that's like, oh, like I'm in charge. He's just like, but he's awesome. I need more Clink.
Right on.
I want the Bad Batch to steal Clink. We saw that they do have a Gonk droid on their ship in the end of the one episode when Wrecker was curling it. He jumps off like a garbage can. He's just sweet, man. Animated series, give us more Clink. We want
right
Clink.
On. I think my favorite droid, and I know you and I aren't huge sequel fans. However, my favorite droid is this man right here. My man,
the first droid ever with social anxiety.
Exactly. I just, like I said, we're not huge prequel people, but I think Dio's awesome, dude. He's the coolest.
Yeah.
But
man,
yes,
honestly, like I agree. Like we aren't huge sequel fans, but like I also I liked BB-8. Like sure, he's cool.
BB-8 was a cool dude. Absolutely.
Yeah, cool droid, cool take and adaptation, and kind of new droid to throw in there.
Right on.
But yeah, so the whole Echo thing, Echo looked sweet in his like droid disguised costume type thing. He looked awesome, which actually kind of inspired our top 5 armors.
I know we said it. I know we hit it last week, and I hope this isn't ruining your top 5 or anything. We're doing this completely blind, but I swear Crosshair's freaking armor is so badass, man. I love his helmet, with the little crosshair. I just, I really like his character. He is a damn good villain, I will say. Through 4 episodes, especially this the 3rd episode, I was like, this guy gets it.
We didn't get any Crosshair this week, so I would assume we'll probably get a little bit more of him coming up in episode 5.
And my wife can attest to this. I have always been a huge proponent for the Sith, the dark side, all of that. I want them to win. I do. I want them to win.
One of the best parts of Star Wars is the villains.
Exactly. They've mastered the villain art so well.
Making villains and villain armies.
Is it a little Hitlery? Yes. Sometimes they get into, especially I think it was at The Force Awakens when there's that big giant rally and it's almost exactly like a Hitler speech.
The redheaded general is like giving the speech in front of the giant red flag.
Right. Yeah. Which, speaking of the cinematography,
it's a metaphor.
It's
They're
a
not
metaphor.
Actual Nazis.
Right. But however, I will say the whole cinematography of that scene is incredible. I mean, just the filter on it. It's just, I don't know much about film and I don't really know much about cinematography, but I know at least this much is that shit was beautiful. But yeah. One of our many tangents. Do you have anything else about Bad Batch?
Honestly, not really. Just overall thoughts. I think Fennec. I think Fennec's working with Boba Fett.
Agreed.
New favorite droid alert, Clink. And then I thought the chase scene was really reminiscent of episode 2, and I just thought that was really cool.
Right.
So
agreed on all terms.
I mean, let's just, like we said, these are short episodes. They're not the same thing as The Mandalorian. These aren't big movie-like episodes. Let's just keep rolling.
Right on. Yeah, absolutely.
Right, cool.
Agreed.
Awesome.
Okay, which brings us into our next thing. It is Monday.
New segment.
Yeah, new segment.
New
And
segment, new movie updates.
yeah, thank God. We actually usually record on Sundays. Sometimes we let it bleed into Mondays, and actually, thank God we let it let it slide into Monday this time because we got a movie teaser this morning. Tommy, I
Yeah.
mean, what do we got?
Yeah, so we got the first teaser trailer. Well, actually, probably like the second teaser trailer.
Right,
From
right.
Eternals. We got that little like 30-second blip thing, and this used some of that footage, but we got a real teaser trailer for the Eternals, and it looks incredible.
Yeah.
The kind of like you said, the cinematography, it looks like this is going to be production levels and budgets out the ass. This thing
Uh-huh.
looks visually insane. So we get a quick look of the Eternals. It kind of looks like they've been around forever. They say that. They say they've never interfered until now. We get a slight glimpse. It looks like they have almost like godlike powers. We see the one woman touching the ground and like waters coming out. We know one of them has super speed. So it'll be interesting to see all of their abilities and how they play off of that. I have a couple points and pretty interesting things that I would like to point
Yeah.
out in the trailer, but
Right.
what were your thoughts?
I thought it was super dope. I wasn't like, I wasn't, blown away, blown out of my seat, anything like that. But that's kind of a teaser trailer's job. It's kind of a, hey,
Right,
here's what's
right.
coming. We'll give you a little bit, but we're gonna leave a lot left to be
That's how I
desired.
felt story-wise.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I kind of did some digging, found out that Chloe Zhao, I believe is her name. She's an Oscar, just recently won an Oscar. She's an Oscar-winning director. So like I was kind of telling you pre-show, is it's going to be in like kind of like you were just saying, it's going to be very director production heavy. It's going to be, we're going to get a lot of really, really good scenes from the movie. I know that sounds kind of stupid, but we're going to get a lot of
Well, good
really
scenes make a good movie.
right. We're gonna get a lot of good acting, and
Yeah.
like we were talking about before the episode is, it's Angelina Jolie's in it, so it has to be a pretty seriously good movie, for her to be even remotely involved with it. So, what are your top two takeaways? Let's hear them.
All right. So there's actually three, but
Okay,
two of them kind of pull in together.
right on.
So in the trailer, there's that line, we've been around since the beginning of time and we've never interfered until now.
Right.
I want to know what is there now? Because we know we're going to be getting messy with timeline stuff. We know Multiverse of Madness is coming before. No, Eternals is coming out this year. So this is coming out before the Multiverse of Madness.
Right.
But we also see later on in the trailer, they acknowledge that, okay, Steve Rogers and Tony Stark are gone. Who's going to lead the Avengers? So, I don't know what their timeline
This
is.
is
Is it
this is
after End?
messy.
So it's obviously there's parts of it after Endgame. There's obviously
Right.
parts of it that were in very ancient times, which is kind of my later point.
Mhm.
But yeah, so when is this? When is this now that we need to interfere? Is it when Thanos snaps and they're kind of like, holy shit, like maybe we should be paying attention? Is it after that? Like after they reverse the snap? Obviously, there's going to be parts after the snap. I don't know. Like that's
I love
when
I
is it
love I
now that they needed to interfere, and
right.
what could have triggered that need for them to interfere?
I
Was it
love
Thanos? Was it something else? It's going to be pretty interesting.
I love how this is where we're at with Marvel. Instead of what's gonna happen. It's what time period are we in?
Yeah,
Where
yeah,
what
yeah. Not
time
even
does this?
what are we doing here?
Yeah,
When
was
when are we doing here?
which significant event can we base this off of, or is it multiple? And
Right.
I think that's what's starting to become so cool about Marvel and the multiverse and the cinematic multiverse is
Mhm.
we're asking so much more different questions than we were in like phase one, phase two. Phase one, phase two, it's like, oh, new Marvel movies coming out. I'm excited to see what happens in this one, and then we get to
Right.
Endgame.
Yeah.
It's
Phase
like
one, we're asking, oh man, if Iron Man shot Tony Stark's shield, what do you think would happen? Well, now we've seen it 50 times. So
we've seen it a couple times at this point, and
yeah.
yeah, catch up, kid. You know what I mean? It's like it's like we're in 7 different realities at this point. Doctor Strange has got to find his way into the right one, and you know.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
exactly.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't. I like Kumail Nanjiani. I don't know who he's playing.
Looking swole.
Who is he?
He's looking swole.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He got jacked for
He
this.
got real jacked. I mean, he
Yeah.
apparently that's his thing. He was on Armchair Expert a really long time ago, and he's actually super into fitness, and he has been for like a quite some time now. Maybe that's what he was getting,
Huh.
into fitness for, was this, he was going to be a superhero and he knew it. So, um,
Yeah.
you
Could
know,
be.
I like him as an actor. Everybody else, really, I don't know a ton about at this time. I mean, I know Angelina Jolie is Thena. I did a little reading on her. Total fucking badass.
Hmm.
Other than that, I mean, I really got nothing on it. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm actually not super familiar with the Eternal characters.
Right on.
So that's really fun for me, is that, it's something I'm not like super familiar with. It's not like, oh, well, I know like the couple different storylines this movie could go down. I have no idea. And that's super exciting for me. I just kind of know
Right.
that they're just gods that have been around pretty much forever. Um, which is kind of my other point, my other main takeaway of this is, at least for me, it looked like the way they were presenting the trailer. And of course, we know that Marvel flips and flops what's in the trailer, what's in the movie, what's actually going on. They don't give away anything. But
Yeah.
it kind of looked like they're going to play off of the ancient alien theories of like, how are these people like intelligent enough to build these pyramids, to build these cities, things like
Super
that. And it
excited for
looks like
that.
they're like pushing the humans in the right direction of how to
Right.
make these advancements and catch up to modern society. So I think that might be, a portion of the movie. Let it be, a 45-minute, 50-minute sequence or story of that, of like, hey, we've been around forever, this is what we've interfered with, and kind of see them, like I mentioned, build the pyramids, figure
Right.
out like plumbing and irrigation,
Well, and a lot
just
of these,
stuff like that.
and maybe we find out the origins of the powerful things in the universe, such as the Infinity
Hmm.
Stones. Maybe this kind of starts, maybe this is, like I said, it starts to show how the Infinity Stones came about, or
Right,
how
bit
they
more into
got
that, yeah.
right, and
Which would be
and like
sweet,
you
that'd be
said,
awesome.
right, or it could just be humans, which I'm super cool with. It's just kind of showing how humans were basically made by superheroes, and the ancient alien superheroes got them where they needed to be, which I think is super fucking cool.
Hmm.
I love when movies like this, especially Marvel, and they've dipped their toes into history and historical events, and kind of like how superheroes were behind the scenes at these major historical events. So maybe we're going way back now
Which is
with
going to be
Eternals.
really big in Loki.
Right, which is going to be huge in Loki. So maybe Eternals, and we do see some of the some of what is like at least metaphoric to Doctor Strange's magic in one of the scenes in the Eternal trailer. So maybe these are like descendants of or maybe some of of the superheroes or the Avengers or whatever are like descendants of I'm not super into mythology, but Athena sounds like it could have something to do with Zeus and Thor and all that stuff. Don't know much
Right,
about
right.
that kind of.
Well, Hercules is actually a Marvel hero, which they're trying to get. No one has the copyrights
Right.
to Hercules, so he is in the Marvel comics and stuff like that. Him and Thor have fought quite a few times,
Be
so I
badass.
wonder, maybe they will kind of play into that. The Greek gods were just the
Right.
eternal, that kind of thing.
So yeah, super excited to see what comes of it. I really,
Yeah,
but other than that, that's really all I got.
cool, cool.
You want to get into movies we saw this week?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
that's what I meant by the new segment.
Oh
So
shit, sorry.
new
Yeah.
new movie update, new
Yeah.
movie update. No, it's all good. I said we were gonna do the trailer first. So yeah, new movie update. You go first.
Okay. It's not necessarily a new movie. I want to see when this came out. Hold on. I'm going to do a quick Google. I believe it came out in 2020. Yes, it did. Animated movie, anime show, Demon Slayer. My wife and I finished the show, and then we decided that we were immediately going to watch the movie, and we found out it was in theaters near us. Um,
Oh,
I
nice.
don't have a ton to say other than if you're watching this and you are into anime, I would highly suggest going and watching that show. It's on Netflix. It's super short. It's the perfect beginner anime. If you want to just dip your toes and see if you like, if you like anime. It's one season, 26 episodes. There's going to be a second season, but as of now, it'd be super easy to get into. The movie is fucking brilliant. It's animated like no anime I've ever watched. I haven't watched a ton of them. I'm just now starting Naruto, which is another, we can get into that, on a way later date.
Yeah.
But I think, it's like I said, it's the best way to dip your toes. The movie is 2 hours long, and it's 2 fight scenes, and that's the entire movie. However, you do a ton of character development, and you find out more and more about these characters that are in the show, like Rengoku. I'm not going to give any spoilers about Rengoku, but you meet him briefly in the television show, and the movie
Mhm.
involves him heavily. So that's all I really have for it. If you haven't yet, go watch, Demon Slayer on Netflix, and then go watch the movie. We watched it in theaters, but I'm sure you can find it some other way. But other than that, yeah. And yours?
Cool. Yeah, so I watched Army of the Dead this weekend, directed by Zach Snyder, starring Dave Bautista, who plays our beloved Drax. Uh, it's a new modern take on a zombie movie, which is really awesome. We haven't gotten a good new zombie movie in what feels like a really long time. We got Zombieland 2 a couple years ago, but honestly, other than that, like it's felt like it's been a long time since we've gotten like a good one.
Agreed.
And this was really cool. It took a totally unique spin on zombie movies, one that like I've never seen before. Um, really well put together. The way that the scenes and movie were shot and put together was really cool. Like just for sequence wise, I mean Zack Snyder is an awesome director.
Oh yeah.
He did a really good job on this. He did a really good job keeping the story going. Obviously there's a ton of action in this, so it's not boring or anything like that, but at the same time you still get like you mentioned and like we talk about all the time, really good character development,
Yeah.
which always amazes me how you can give me like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and just make me like feel so deeply for these characters,
Oh
like
yeah.
4 5 characters, and just be like, wow, like I'm really invested into these people now. So anytime like I feel invested into characters, I just think that makes help make an awesome movie. Obviously, I'm not going to do spoilers, but uh, zombies, like I said, there's a unique take on the zombies. Um, they're not your basic the Walking Dead zombies that just
Yeah.
literally barely even walk and are probably the easiest zombies to kill of all time.
Yeah.
uh,
I don't know how they're
I mean,
constantly a problem in that show. It doesn't make sense to me. They
no,
seem
absolutely insane. It's like, how have you guys not just simply killed them all? Like,
that's
what? Are you kidding me?
that's what drove me from that show. Did you ever watch that
Yeah,
show?
I was super into it for like 4 seasons, and then yeah, it just kind of got like, yeah, like what are we doing here? You guys can't just like form a group to just go out and get rid of these things. Like even when big herds would come, like in that show, they would still all just be walking like 2 miles an hour. Not even.
Right.
Like,
Right.
come on.
I
Oh,
actually
so a gunshot attracts him. It doesn't make him go any faster.
he's not gonna start running. And
No, he's just gonna slowly turn around and try to find out where that gunshot came
I
from.
remember it was
Unreal.
at the house. Somebody watched it every whatever Sunday or whatever day it came
Hmm.
out. Somebody used to watch it at my old house every week, and at some point there was a tiger involved, and
Yeah, I didn't make it to the tiger.
that's what I'm saying. I'm sitting there going, how have we gotten here? I mean, we've got this old
Right.
dude who controls a tiger, and I feel like if you have a tiger at that point, it's game over for the zombies. They're not winning.
No,
especially
with how
those
slow
zombies.
and weak those zombies were, yeah, no chance.
So what you're
Yeah, for
saying is
me, the
there's
zombies have to be a legitimate threat to keep things
right.
interesting. And let's just say that these zombies were an incredible threat in this movie.
Okay,
So
cool. Hell yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Okay. Can't wait
it
to
was
watch
interesting.
this one.
It was so interesting because, again, I'm trying to say this without spoiling anything, and I'm not going to spoil, but some of the zombies were incredible threats.
So
And
kind
I
of like an
say
I
that
Am
in meaning
Legend.
like there is like a tier system of
Okay.
types of zombies.
So similar to like the Left 4 Dead thing, Left 4 Dead, the video game, is you
Yep.
had the average zombies that were just then you
Yeah,
had different.
very yes, good
Right.
comparison. Very
Okay.
video game like. You'll have
Gotcha.
like Call of Duty zombies. You've got the gas crawlers, which
Right.
obviously are really more of a threat than just your ones that are walking around. And then you have some that sprint, and then
Right
you get
on.
the dogs, which are harder. And yeah, so pretty much like very video game like.
Okay.
But yeah,
Without
awesome
spoiling
movie.
it. Yep.
Not no, not at all. I didn't
Right
spoil
on.
anything.
Right on.
Yeah, if you're into that, check it out. Army of the Dead, awesome movie. I enjoyed it.
Okay, well, Tommy, without further ado, we said at the top of the episode, we are going to get into our top 5 favorite Star Wars armors of all time. Do you want to lead us off?
All right, I will. I believe you led us off last top 5, so
Right
I
on.
will start this one. All right, coming in for me at number 5, I'm going to go with an animated one.
Okay.
The Mandalorians. So
Ooh.
when Darth Maul took control over Mandalore, the faction of the Mandalorians that directly served him went off and made their own armor that tributed themselves
Ooh.
to him. They put the Darth Maul horns on their helmets. They painted their signets black and red to look like him.
Ooh.
It was they almost had like orangish yellow like oak leaf visors
Yeah.
in them. They're badass.
Yuck,
Uh,
man. Those are
so
nasty.
those were sick. So I'm going with them for my number 5.
Okay, my number 5, way less badass than that, honestly, gonna be honest. But I'm going with a sequel thing again, actually, and I'm going Captain Phasma.
Okay.
The
I
I
almost had Captain Phasma as my 5.
she wasn't well received in the movies. She was the lady who played Brienne of Tarth in Game of Thrones. I think that's Toth, I think.
Hmm.
Tarth, maybe. Tarth. Um, I didn't much care for her character in the movies, but that's not what we're ranking at the moment. I just
Right.
think that new age stormtrooper, and then you throw that chrome on it, it looks fantastic. I love it. I really
Hmm.
don't have much else to say about it other than badass set of armor.
There was a deleted scene between her and Finn,
Oh yeah.
and it's pretty out there. It's almost fully edited and everything like that between her and Finn, and I think it was the Rise of Skywalker, right?
Yes. Yep.
And they had an awesome dialogue, an awesome back and forth, and just kind of fighting each other and stuff like that. And this scene would have added so much to both of those characters, and they just cut it.
Absolutely. And that goes
Unreal.
to just goes to show you how the entire sequels have gone. It's like they could have just done so much with it, and it almost seems like they intentionally chose not to. But that's neither here nor there. Number 4.
All right. Number 4, I am going with this is going to be a combo of both like the Phase 2 Clone Trooper and Stormtrooper that have this same armor. And it's going to be the Coruscant Guard and Shock Trooper. So it's the Clone Trooper or Stormtrooper with the red accents,
Oh yeah.
red stripes on the sides of the helmet,
Oh
red
yeah.
boots. Actually,
Oh, those are
this
yeah.
guy, this bad boy right here, a little Black Series figure for you.
Oh yeah.
So, yep,
That
just
is nasty.
those evil red colors put on. I actually like the Clone Trooper armor better than the Stormtrooper, but the only difference is the helmet style. So I just
Yeah.
kind of lumped them together. So yeah, Coruscant Guard and Shock Trooper.
How do you feel about the Red Guard? That's not their actual names. Hold on, it is the
Like the guys in the red robes.
Yeah, the Praetorian Guards. How do you feel about those guys?
I think they're sweet. I'd like to see them do something. I would have liked them to see do something other than get thrown at the wall by Yoda. Like that. Yeah,
they look like they could be cool. So badass, you know. But
if they had maybe one or two action scenes, they might have made the list.
right, and they almost made my list, but I just, I'm same as you. I was like, I haven't.
Same thing with the blue version of them.
Right, I haven't seen them do shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So why, yeah. Is that all you got for your number 4?
Yep.
Right on. I will get into my number 4, and it will be General Grievous, just kind of like just what he's made out of, I guess, which is I think it's Durasteel.
Yeah. I almost threw him on mine as well. You're picking all of my bubble picks right now. I almost threw Grievous on there.
I've always just been a fan of General Grievous, just in general, but again, it's not characters, it's just armor. I think of all of the, I guess, robotic characters, I guess, because he's technically he's not really a droid, is he?
No, like he was a person before,
right?
In the books and comics, he was a person, and then like the Separatists, Count Dooku and Sidious pretty much kidnapped him and made him become their mercenary, and they pretty much just kind of upgraded him and put this like exoskeleton on him,
which is a super badass
and it is sweet.
It's super cool. I've just always been a fan of it. I always thought it looked really good, and I love how they just made him so intimidating. It used to scare the shit out of me as a kid when I was a little, watching these movies. I used to be like, that guy is terrifying. But
the most terrifying version of General Grievous is in that animated Star Wars: The Clone Wars from 2003.
Oh, really?
When he just absolutely mows down like all of Daddy Mooney's Padawans, like all 5 of them right in front of him, and he's just like, what? So that Grievous in that show is awesome.
That's awesome. All right, that's all I got for him. What's your number 3?
All right, number 3, I have probably straight up my favorite clone trooper, Captain Rex. So I'm going back to the Clone Wars again. Captain Rex armor is completely custom by him. It's a crossover between the Phase 1 and Phase 2 clone armor. I believe he takes the bottom half of the Phase 2 helmet and he welded it onto the top half of the Phase 1 helmet. So he still has that like fin at the top, but then he's got kind of the 2 tubes at the bottom, as well as him being an ARC trooper. He's got the awesome accessories. So, the shoulder pads, the skirt, and just his markings, like on his chest, he's got tally marks on his shoulder.
He counts his kills on his armor. Oh yeah.
Just an absolute badass.
Agreed. That's a hell of a number 3. My number 3 are the Dark Troopers. Fucking love Dark Troopers. I don't know. Have we seen them in a live action movie? Maybe. They were in The Mandalorian. That's right. Yep. Oh my God, did they look good in The Mandalorian? Oh my God. Just always loved that just real slick black look. They got absolutely pieced up by Luke Skywalker, which is unfortunate.
Which that show spent 2 seasons showing us how Din Djarin, Mando himself, was the best combat fighter we have ever seen in the entire galaxy. He could barely kill one of these things. And Luke Skywalker in his prime comes in and dices them up like butter.
Walks through
them. Oh, baby. Oh, did they nerf Din Djarin with that scene?
That was, However,
that was awesome, though.
Yeah, I love the Dark Troopers. Thought they looked really good in The Mandalorian, and like you said, they absolutely nerfed Din Djarin, just completely ignored his absolute mercenary badass skills. And yeah. Anyway, that's all I got. What do you got? What's
Yeah.
number 2?
All right. My number 2 is going to be the Scout Trooper. So not necessarily the one that we see in like in the original trilogy in episode 6 on Endor on the speeder bikes or in
Yeah.
Mandalorian on the speeder bikes. I do love that version. And that's the basis of this. But I'm going to go with the Scout Trooper armor from episode 3 on Kashyyyk. Camoed out with
Oh yeah.
the clone trooper snipers that wore the armor. I mean it was so hard.
Yuck.
Like, come on,
Yuck.
just so sexy on Kashyyyk and the islands, like just perfectly camouflaged and just such cool armor, man.
Oh yeah.
I mean, yeah, I was obsessed with that one as a kid. I play Star Wars Battlefront a lot, and
Oh yeah.
whenever I'm the clone snipers, I'm picking that skin 10 times out of 10.
Very underrated video game. It was Battlefront 2, wasn't it? For the
Mhm.
PS2 and original Xbox, I believe. Might have been PS1. But man, yeah,
Yeah,
agreed.
I
That's
played it. It was PlayStation 2.
hell of a pick, Tommy. Hell of a pick.
Thank you.
My number 2 is the Purge Troopers. They
Ooh,
are
okay. I'm gonna have to
disgusting.
refresh myself real quick.
I think we've only ever seen them in live action once. They're in Jedi Fallen Order a lot, the video game. I know that. I haven't played much of that game, but I do know that they show up. I believe, yeah, but like I said, I think we only see them.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, dude, they're disgusting.
Oh, wow. That's just a black and red version of Captain Rex.
Right. So
Oh my
it's
God. Those guys are sweet.
super sleek. And you can just tell, they can kick some serious ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got the double-ended, shock wands, I guess you could
Yeah,
call
that we
them.
see
That's kind of
Grievous's guards use.
right.
Yeah.
They're very similar. I think the purple of their, shock, things, look really good with the black and red scheme of the outfit. But yeah, that's my number 2. It was almost my number 1, and then I switched up. So what do you got?
All right. My number 1, I feel like you probably know what my number 1's gonna be. And if whoever listens to this show, like
Duh.
if you've listened to the last couple episodes, you probably know. But I gotta go with my boy Boba
Boba
Fett.
Fett.
I
Yep.
can't leave him out in the dust. Boba Fett is just the man. He was the man. He is the man. He's always gonna be the man. I think his armor is only gonna take the lead even higher once we get the book of Boba Fett. Uh, Honestly, all versions of his armor. So the one we see in the movies,
Right.
the one we saw in Mandalorian was sick, even when it wasn't on him, the super old beat up version. But then when he puts it back on, when he gets the new paint job, stuff like that. Also, all the like random versions of it in the comics. There's one where in the comics he enters like a fighting competition to win a prize. Like he needed credits to like pay for ship repairs to like I don't know, to like fix something, and
Yeah.
this was like the only way he could get credit. So he entered a tournament and he didn't want people to know that he was Boba Fett, so he just blacked out his armor, just full black, just an all black Boba Fett. Yeah. And then to counter that, the Boba Fett prototype armor, which is simply just him in all white. The vision part of his helmet is still black, and then his like guns and stuff is still
Ew.
black. But that was gonna be the original Boba Fett, and he was basically just gonna be like a clone trooper commando type
Yeah.
thing. But
Yucky.
ultimately they converted him into the color. But
I like the
Boba Fett
blacked
and
out
all
version
versions of
too.
Boba Fett, all are welcome.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so my number 1, and this is like he's a very niche character, and the only reason I know about him is, as you know, I don't read the comics. But a long time ago, I had this. It wasn't. I wouldn't say it's a really long time ago, um, but it was a book of Star Wars villains, and the guy that I remember most and the guy that I really liked was Darth Bane in his samurai looking armor.
Yep.
I think that is easily the sleekest, slickest armor in Star Wars. Truthfully, I would
Yeah.
love to see him. I would love to see him in person. Also, his other one that's kind of similar to Darth Vader's without the helmet. He's just got the breathing mouthpiece on. Um,
hmm
Also a huge fan of that. But my favorite, has always been is like that samurai looking. Is the samurai looking armor.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah. That is an awesome pick. People are going to be so pissed that we didn't put like Darth Vader on here, but
Oh, come on. That's too easy.
yeah, this
Like
is a little different. I mean, granted, Boba Fett was
yeah. How
pretty basic, but that's my guy though. That's my
well,
guy.
and here's the thing. It's like we don't like to go for one, we don't like to go for low-hanging fruit, and two, um, Darth Vader has the strongest armor. I'm pretty sure you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's the strongest armor ever made, isn't it?
No, Beskar stronger.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, yeah. His
Okay.
armor isn't even like it's more of like a suit than armor,
Huh.
honestly.
I
The only
thought
armor
his
parts
armor
are
was
really like his helmet and then like the chest. And,
gotcha.
like then he has like legs and stuff, but
Right
for the
on.
most part, I think it's just kind of like like sleeve, that like cloth material over his prosthetics.
Interesting, interesting. I didn't know that. I
hmm
thought it was all armor. However, I did just find on Google a Dave Bautista as Darth Bane, and it looks good. It
Really?
looks real good. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be sweet. He
Hey, it's
said,
it's another Disney property. They can totally
what
get
did he
away
say?
with it.
Oh, it was Dave Bautista said he would like to do um the new version of Bane for the Batman movies,
That would be pretty sick.
which would be cool.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah.
Um,
But
yeah,
yeah, pretty solid top five there, Logan.
right on you as
If you're
well.
still listening, comment below some of your top fives, what you liked.
Yeah,
Comment below anything you want, really, what you thought of the episode. Bad Batch, what you thought of the Eternals trailer. Have you seen those two movies we talked about? What are some of your favorite Star Wars armors? All that. I'm going to be posting clips of the episode on Instagram and TikTok. So make sure you follow that. Instagram is at New Era Nerds Pod. I posted one clip for the first time just to kind of see how it would do. And it actually did pretty well. So it seems like that format of posting the full video on YouTube and then posting clips, highlights on Instagram and TikTok. So I think that's the way we're going to be going. But yeah, I'll also see if I can get a graphic up for each of our top fives and let the listeners and followers vote for who had the better one. So
right
make
on.
sure you go and comment who had the better top five. But other than that, I am good, and I'm excited to get this next episode of the Bad Batch, and then what other content drops this week. I'm sure there's going to be something. So
Right on.
yeah,
Yeah, hit us like Tommy said, hit us on the socials, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. We don't really get into Facebook. Who would get into Facebook right now? It's for my mom. I don't want her knowing that I have a podcast. She'd ground me forever. But yeah, no, hit us on the socials. We'd love to chat with you. Like I say, pretty much week in, week out. You talking to us on social media gives us more to talk about on the show. So let's open some dialogue. Let's have some conversation. Let's have a good time. Other than that, I will see us out of this episode. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. Tommy, love you, buddy.
love you too.